television work hand in hand to bring the best platform to sell your business. Tune in on the WWNNradio.com website or follow AMP on amp2.tv website to see radio.
And good evening, Boca. This is Fred Santory on, where are we? WNN 1470.
Do you have to think about it?
Sometimes I do.
Okay, it's AM, by the way, not PM.
1470
or
AM.
FM.
No, AM.
It's AM.
AM. And the funny chuckles behind me is my co-host for tonight's show, Empowerment Psychic, Hallie Elise. How are you, Hallie?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing very well. Tonight's segment is going to be interesting because I asked Hallie at the last second to come on down, so she has no idea of what I'm going to ask her.
No.
But Hallie does have a show here on NN 1470 that's going to follow us right after this at 6:30, the Hallie Elise Empowerment Show.
I like that we stuck that empowerment in there. It's not really part of the title, but that's all right.
But I was told that was the title, Hallie Elise Empowerment.
No, Hallie Elise Empowerment Psychic.
Oh, Empowerment Psychic.
Yeah, see, you got to get it right.
That's what it is. But I want to thank you for coming down, even though I messed that up. And we're going to talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing today, because you got a little something going on, and you have a guest on that show.
I do.
I just want to remind people that you can watch today's show on WNN 1470's website. So that's WNNradio.com.
Now, wait, how do they get to that?
They go to the computer and turn on WWNNradio.com.
Just checking. But once they're there, how do they find it?
There's a TV button, and you hit that, and voila, it should pop right open.
Okay.
Now, I also got some complaints because there is phones like mine that are Android that do not play flash drive. So that means that you can only see and watch live performances on your Android phones that use flash. If you have a if you have a show that you want to watch, you have to go to the YouTube links, which we provide. That's why we provided YouTube links.
But you're not then watching it live. You're watching an archive on YouTube.
Yes, but some people complain because they want to watch the archive shows on their cell phones.
And they can do that on YouTube.
And you could do it only if you go to the YouTube links. Okay. That's why we tell our hosts, we give them the YouTube links, so that if people try to go to the websites on their phone, if they use a flash drive player, you cannot watch.
That explains a lot.
The archive
I've been getting a lot of phone
shows.
Calls about, I thought you said you were live and I can watch it, and
yes, live shows, you never have a problem. You can watch our show tonight.
Not from the phone.
You can watch it from the phone tonight. Oh yes, from the phone.
Okay.
You can watch it from the phone. But the archive of this show, I will put a YouTube link up, and you have to go to the YouTube link in order to see it, because that's your phone. It's not the stuff that we use.
Okay, fine. Does it have my name on it at least?
It has your name on it,
yes.
yes.
So people can find it.
Oh, yes, right. They just got to look up your name, and they should. Now they go to your website, and they can see your archives.
Well, they can go to my YouTube link, but I don't have everything loaded. There's maybe 3 things.
That's what we have to do. You have to load your YouTube link, because any apparatus that uses a flash drive player has to go to YouTube.
Gotcha.
Okay, so just to get that out the way. And tonight's show is being powered by amp2.tv. And I want to get into the segment a little bit, because we play a whole bunch of commercials that we have with all our sponsors and all the shows that we have. We've grown to 5 days a week. We on NN. We have a show starting at 4 o'clock till 6. Tonight it goes till 8. You can catch all the different shows that are on there. We have Hallie's show.
Did you forget my name for a moment?
No. I was just thinking, how should I present that? And then we have We Are the People, and we have Deliverance, which is a gospel religious type of deal that goes on at 7:30. It's doing very well. But anyway, let's jump into the Hallie Elise show.
Okay.
Let's jump into a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Hallie Elise, where you've been and where you're going.
Where I've been and where I'm going. I don't know. We only have a half hour. I don't think I
Give
have
me the
time.
condensed version.
The condensed version. Okay. People always ask, are you really psychic? Or
are you?
Yes, you could check with my family, and they shake their head and they walk in the other direction, because I'll say something and they'll go, great. And they roll their eyes. But my mom has funny stories about when I was a little kid, and I didn't just go to a program one day and say, oh, look, now I'm psychic. I have gone through a lot of education, because I always wanted to know, well, why am I doing this? Why? And it's interesting because that sensory awareness, they used to call it ESP, extrasensory perception, right? And that kind of covered everything. Now the word psychic, a lot of people think, oh, that means you're a medium, you talk to the dead, or oh, that means you're a tarot card reader. But the word psychic is like ESP. It's a broad term that encompasses a lot of different things. And if somebody said to me, well, how do you work? I work with a myriad of tools. I'm clairvoyant, so that means I see things coming, all kidding aside. And I'm clairaudient, so I hear things. I'm clairsentient, so I literally sense. So, I mean, we can spend all night on this. The idea is...
You do every ent. There is.
There you go. Lots of different ents. The one that's not an ent is telepathy. Ask my kid. It makes her crazy. The idea that somebody else knows your thoughts. And it was very cute. A friend said something after one of my psychic galleries last month to somebody else because I brought up something about Hungary. And so she said to the person, oh, she always picks up on me. She knows my thoughts. She was probably just hearing that I kept saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Anyways.
Yeah, but I've seen you do that because you've done that to me.
Okay. Well,
you say, yeah, I open a window and we have this thing, don't look in my window.
There's certain people you connect with on a stronger level than others. But if somebody is coming for a reading specifically, I basically do a little prayer in my head and I ask to be guided in the most constructive, loving, simple way possible to give that person information. Whatever comes.
Good, better, and different?
Yeah, I'll share something that's kind of funny. And I've shared this a lot of times at my programs because it's just a hoot. I had a client in and the entire time I'm hearing the word peanut butter. I'm thinking, peanut butter? Are you kidding? I'm not saying peanut butter. That's just ridiculous. Why would I say peanut butter? And it's as if somebody then took a banner and put it in my head in blaring, bright, lit letters that says peanut butter. I'm like, fine, I give up. I will say peanut butter. So I said to the lady, I know this is going to be nuts, but I keep seeing peanut butter. She starts to get hysterical, laughing like nobody's business. And then she says, would you like to know why I'm laughing so much? I said, if you want to share. Obviously, you know what peanut butter means. And I said, it's really not about me. It's about you. She goes, well, I have 3 kids. I'm like, yes. And she says, and my husband and I like each other. I'm like, yes. She says, well, that's kind of our cue word when we need to get away and just spend some time together. And we've not had peanut butter in a really long time, and we need to do that.
And you picked up the word peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
And that's
so, but I'm just
different.
saying, it's one of those funny things. It's not where it's planned. So if somebody comes to see me, I don't know what's going to be shared.
Right. Well,
if it's relevant to them,
but that's all.
That's it.
But it's all about being able to perceive thought. I mean, because again, and using myself as an example, in the past you've seen things that others haven't, and you've told me about it. And I'll say that on the air. It's true. It's a true fact.
Right.
But again, on this show, I want to get away from a little bit of that because, and again, why don't you give...
Okay, you want some background and whatever. Okay, so I was listed as one of the top 100 psychics in America, actually,
And what does that mean, Hallie?
That means I'm pretty cool.
and what does that mean for you professionally?
Professionally, I guess it's good. It's really funny. I'm not a big one on like, oh, look at that person there, and though they've done this and they've done that. My feeling is always that the proof is within the interaction. And I love the idea that I'm listed.
Right.
And I love the idea that the Palm Beach Post featured me. And, all these other things that come in that are really great accolades. But what I love even more is when somebody says, I was going through that trouble and I came to see you like a year ago or 2 years ago and I was hesitant about listening, but I went ahead and did it and I'm so happy now. Like, that's where I get excited. That's where, if you will, it becomes important as far as what I do.
And you've been doing this for a little while, right?
Forever. We'll say professionally, and the difference between a novice and a professional, right? One gets paid,
one doesn't.
Right. So professionally over 30 years.
Professional.
Yes.
But all your life you've seen this.
Life.
Now, it's funny. AMP produces other shows, and you're familiar with a couple of them, but we produce other shows that do readings, or, I mean, I really don't know what the adjective it should be used.
It could be a psychic session. I don't know. It depends on what you're doing.
It all depends on definition, right? And one of the things that I noticed that is very different from you from others, and not saying that others are better or worse or anything else, is that you get to the point when somebody asks you a question or you'll say something very quickly. Others sort of stumble around like they're trying to feel their way around a dark room.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. I don't know that I've observed that. I think every person who is sensitive senses in different ways. Some sense in a myriad of ways, and others it's just one doorway. So perhaps it's necessary for them to use your example there, your little metaphor about stumbling around. Maybe they want to make sure that they're giving the correct information, or perhaps they're...
Or they don't want to tell you the truth?
I don't know too many psychics that won't tell you the truth. The really good ones will tell you the truth, but the really good ones will also go out of their way to do it in a kind manner. They won't just say, your boyfriend Johnny's dying tomorrow, because that's hellacious and it's unnecessary. We're not God. But if you sense something that severe, there are definitely things that you can say to the person that can be helpful.
Now, if you have information that is going to bother the other person, I'm not talking about deaths, talking about other things. And, maybe the guy's cheating on his wife, or the wife is cheating on the guy. Something's going on. Do you come forward and say, hey, let me tell you something?
Nobody believes I'm from New York because I don't talk like this and I don't come out really harsh.
That's because you've been in Florida too long.
No, I go back a lot. But anyways, I had a client who came in and she sat down, and right away I get these images of her husband being into S&M and cheating on her and all sorts of things. And I'm thinking, oh God, really? Why me? I don't want to share this information. So she sits down, and before I can even say anything, she says, I'm having problems with my husband. And I'm like, yeah, I could have told you that. But, I let her talk for a moment, and then I said to her, I don't want to be unkind. I said, but I don't see your marriage lasting. I said, do what you think is best in this moment to make yourself happy. Try all routes that you think are good for you. I said, but it does not feel as if it's going to last.
So you told her the truth?
I did.
Wow. Not easy.
She wasn't happy with me, and she said, well,
not coming to see you anymore.
The arms are crossed, and she said, and why would you say something like that? And I told her, I said, because I don't want to lie to you. She says, well, what specifically are you getting? And that's when it got a little touchy, because I believe in being diplomatic, but I also believe in being truthful. So I had to kind of dance around very gently and delicately to say certain things. But I guess she knew certain things, and they rang very true for her when they were said, and she burst into tears, and she's like... She's
still a client?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. I think about 9 years, 10 years now.
All right. What we're going to do is... I want to get into what your show is going to be about when we come back from the break.
Okay.
But I just want to let people know that, Hallie, why don't you give your phone number or your website to get in touch with you?
Okay.
Do that now.
That's easy. Okay. The website is HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com. Pretty easy. And actually, if you Google me, I'll come up on about 20 different pages. As far as phone number, 561-755-2166. And that is on the website as well, and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and what else is there? Pinterest. We could keep going.
Tumblr, everything else.
Exactly.
Okay. And to reach AMP, you can reach us at 866-224-5422, 866-224-5422. And we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back, and we'll talk about what you're going to be doing on the next set.
Perfect.
We'll see you on the other side. Ironic enough.
Okay.
All right.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV.
Wow, this looks really great. Gosh, I've got to stop talking to myself. The Psychic Gallery on the first Monday of every month, 7:30 p.m. here in Boca Raton. De-stress, connect with intuitive abilities, laugh, Learn about psychic phenomena and get psychic messages? Psychic messages? Woo! Where's the price? Here it is. Only $25 at the door? Awesome! How do I sign up? Oh, easy. Go to HallieElise.com. Nice. $5 off online? Oh, I've got to call the girls and tell them about the Psychic Gallery on the first Monday of the month. Great time! 7:30 p.m. Perfect. Have to remember HallieElise.com for the Psychic Gallery.
You are listening and watching Taking Care of Business, powered by AMP2.tv, as your host brings you new concepts using radio and TV together, forming a powerful platform for business people in all areas. You have a question or comment? Call in 888-565-1470, and our host will provide ideas to bring your business to life. Now, back to the show.
And we're back.
Jim, we can't leave that music on the entire time.
No, we cannot. As a matter of fact, I got to cut it before I have to pay royalties. But anyway, I want to touch because I want to get into the segment about what you're going to be doing on your show.
Okay.
Now, you've been on the radio station. You've done radio in the past for many years, I understand. I didn't know you back then. Now we're doing a component where there's television being added to what you're doing.
Right.
And you and television equipment don't get along all the time. But we're doing the best we can.
Okay.
But I understand also you do something on Monday nights, the first Monday of every month. I want you to tell us real quickly about that.
Okay. I work with an audience the first Monday of the month. I do a psychic gallery, and it's an opportunity for people to come in, kind of get familiar with me a little bit and find out what I'm about, what I do. I play a lot, so they get an opportunity to actually have an experiential setup where they can experience energy work and they can actually see something for themselves and connect with a higher aspect of themselves. They learn a little bit about tapping into their own intuition, and I do my best to read everybody in the audience.
It's a 2-hour show from what I understand.
It is.
And the guy that went on our behalf, he was supposed to go with some other people, came back, he says it was marvelous, and he won something, and you told him about his life.
I do door
prizes. He didn't stop talking about it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I'd like to do door prizes. I like everybody to have fun, and because September is my birthday month, I give out extra prizes and gifts and goodies.
We wanted to be there, and we couldn't get in the building, but that's because we're not very bright people. But anyway, talked about the Bridge of Deaths and what you're going to be doing on your show.
Okay. So MCV Egan, and I don't know if you can see the banner from there. No, you're just kind of seeing the books. Maybe we can change that for when she comes in. But she is a phenomenal individual. She's very articulate. She is very well-traveled, well-read. And the book that she wrote is influenced actually by a family member who was in the war. And the Bridge of Deaths is a literal place that there were a lot of problems during the war where planes seemed to go down a lot. But there's a lot more to it. There's a pocket watch that told a story and information that was validated by psychometry and information that was validated by past life regression. I actually worked with the original main character in the book, not knowing at the time what MCV Egan was doing. I went ahead and did a past life regression for him, and she was able to extrapolate information.
Really?
And then verify. Yeah, it's an amazing story, and she's woven metaphysics with history with a love story. She has fiction and nonfiction woven together in a way that I've never seen done before, and she's getting world acclaim for it.
Wow! And how were you fortunate enough to get her on your set? Let's start there.
Okay, I have to think back. Actually, her husband had a business in one of the office buildings that I was in. Oh my gosh, has to be 15 years ago, 16 years ago, perhaps, maybe longer.
That's how you met her?
And that's how we met. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Why don't you tell us also, where if people wanted to visit do they go to the website to get more information about the first Monday of every month?
Website's a great place to go because we have the psychic gallery. We have information about meditation classes. I
saw that. I didn't know you were even doing meditation
absolutely.
class.
Actually, I was awarded this year for that too. It's really cool.
What is a
So
meditation class?
Little things that get me excited. Generally speaking, meditation class is where you go in and you learn how to be peaceful and grounded, and you learn a particular technique. But there's over 150 different ways that you can do meditation. I teach a little differently. How can I explain this? For me, if you go to a program, there needs to be some fun. There has to be a component of laughter. It can't be too serious. Even if I were teaching medicine, I would find a way to bring some humor into it. So people come in and they do learn how to meditate, but I take the stress out of the learning process, because very often people go to a class and just the nervousness about having to learn what's going on,
Right.
they can't connect. They come in, we play. And
What time
through
does
the
that
play
start?
that works. It starts at 7 p.m. and goes from 7 to 9. It's starting actually October 1st.
And you never did that before, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've
I mean,
been
you haven't
doing
done it
for years
recently.
and years and years. I taught over at Nova University for many years.
Really?
Mhm.
On meditation.
Meditation, stress management, yes.
Interesting. And so it's at the same place that you do the gallery at the building, your office?
Many times, yes. This time, no. I'm actually going to be over at the How Center, which is the Holistic Organic Wellness Center that just opened up on Federal Highway in Boca.
Excellent. You know the address?
Off the top of my head, no,
No.
sorry, but I can tell you it's right off of like 32nd Street and Federal Highway.
Well, the nice
If
thing
that's
is,
helpful.
no, the nice
It's
thing
near
is
the Denny's.
you're going to be. I know exactly what it is. You're going to have a show right after this show, and by then you'll know the address, and you can talk
will
about
look it up, absolutely.
Real quickly, what is the most inspiring thing about what you do for you? What is it that says, I'm going to do this for another 50 years, and the reason why? What's one thing that hits home?
It's a great question. The thing that hits home really is when somebody's gotten information during a session, during a reading, and it doesn't have to be an hour session at the office. It could be at one of the events. It could be 15 minutes or 2 minutes, but has gotten something that had value to them, that meant something, that helped create a better life for them. That's why I use the word empowerment, because I'm really all about helping that individual get to wherever it is they want to be.
And that's what you've done all your career, yes?
Pretty much. I came up with the name empowerment several years back. Before then it was spiritual entrepreneur, because I figured between the different classes and the different modalities, try to clarify. Problem with that is a lot of people went, what? What's an entrepreneur? What do you mean? So empowerment was the next step.
Now, you do your skill also on the phone,
I do.
right? And in other words, people can call you from anywhere in the
Sure.
world.
I have clients around the world. I have clients in Germany, Israel, Paris.
And how does
France, I should
how
say.
does that work? You speak to them. Let's say the first person. It's not going to be the same for somebody you've spoken to, let's say, a year, but somebody fresh that you've never spoken to before, and they're in another country or another state, and they call you up and you get to know them, and you can
No.
start right away.
No, I don't get to know them.
No, at all?
No, I tell them, make sure the radio's not on, the TV's not on, they're not going to be disturbed, to close their eyes for a moment, take 3 slow, deep breaths, and think about their life. And when they're ready, let me know, and we start.
And that's it.
That's it.
Wow, that's different. And again, it's just because I've seen others that do this. I've had people on the show that some people that you know, and it takes them a little bit. It's like a pitcher; they take a little time to warm up, and a lot of times they'll ask you, "Is that correct?" And you don't want to say no. So you
should,
end up
though, if
saying,
it's-
okay.
If it's not. But sometimes, too, I find people will say, oh, that can't be right, because in the moment it's a portent of the future. So they don't really know the future. And I'll give an example. I have a girlfriend who also works psychically, and this girl was dating this guy, let's say, named Michael, arbitrary name. And she comes in, she's like, oh, am I going to marry Michael? And my friend says to her, I'm sorry, not this Michael. You're going to marry another Michael. She goes, well, that's just ridiculous. No, if you're saying Michael, it has to be this Michael. It can't possibly be another Michael. Well, about a year and a half later, she met the other Michael. Guess who she married?
The other Michael?
Yeah. So it's not exact for the person sitting there, nor is it exact for the person giving information. And I'll give an example. If, for instance, you come in and I go, oh, isn't that nice? You've got a trip coming up to Europe. You're going to have a great time if you take the trip. Wow, I see this, I see that. The person goes, oh, yeah, that's really awesome. We just planned it. We just got our tickets. And then, let's say a week before the trip, your mother breaks her hip, and you decide not to go on the trip. Was the psychic wrong?
Oh,
There is always, and I tell my clients this all the time,
good point.
there is always free will. Whatever that portent of the future is a guideline. You as an individual have the ability to change things. The idea of fate is metered by your interaction with it.
It's what you do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you tell somebody, stay out of the water, doesn't mean they're going to drown. Just means don't go to the water, right? Don't.
Well, if there was a possibility of drowning, I would get a sense of that. There was
Really?
Yeah, there was really a very sad incident many years ago. One of my mom's friends used to come to me all the time, and obviously I'm not going to say names, but she used to come for readings all the time, and she sat with me one evening, and I got this awful picture of a little baby girl drowning, and I'm like, no, don't want to know this, and I'm looking up going, really? There is no reason I need to know this. I do not want to share this information. No, and I'm fighting inside of my head, And when I look up, it's really because I do believe we're connected to something higher than ourselves. But anyways, so in the best way possible that I could share the information, I just told her, any little girls that are around you, I don't care if it's family, if it's neighbors, under the age of 2, watch them near the water like a hawk. Do not let them be alone in the water. At the time, she didn't know her daughter was pregnant. After her daughter had the baby, several months later, she was giving her a bath in one of those little sit-up things. They're like a loop that hold the baby up to sit.
Right.
The phone rang. The daughter walked out of the room for a moment.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's a sad deal.
Yeah, and after that, though, I didn't know that I would continue doing this because it disturbed me so much.
We have a minute left. I wanted to ask real quick. Psychic reading has a tie-in to angels or religion?
Not necessarily.
Is there any connection between hearing an angel or
somebody
guardian?
Somebody could say to you, who do you hear from? Where do you get your information from? And somebody may say, oh, I talk to angels, I talk to guides, I talk to this, I talk to that. My answer to that is I connect to the mass consciousness of all of creation. That's it.
Well, in order to understand that better, you have to call Hallie Elise or come and see her. Join her at the center, first Monday of every night.
The Psychic Gallery is over at my office building, yes, the greenhouse.
The greenhouse on Federal.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can catch Hallie at 6 to 6:30. I'm sorry, 6:30 to 7.
I was going to say, you're changing
That's
my
because
time?
you're here. 6:30 to 7 right here on WNNradio.com. Listen to her on HallieElise.com, which is her website. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. It was
I look
fun.
forward to the next set when you have your guest in here.
Okay,
I want to thank Linda for doing the board today, and Kenny over the on the other side of the glass. Again, 866-224-5422 is our number. Give us a call. Put your product on the air and see what that could do for you. We'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy your week.
You have been listening to Taking Care of Business, powered by AMP2.tv. You can reach AMP2.tv by calling 866-224-5422 and join the AMP2.tv radio TV network. We give you all the tools you need to have your own show, both on radio and TV, and bring new energy and ideas to the business you're trying to promote. If you want to be a leader in new concepts and make your business #1 in the area, AMP2.tv has the platforms to get you there. 866-224-5422 is the number to get you started. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Are you a family caregiver? Are you taking care of a spouse or loved one who can no longer take care of himself or herself? Are you dealing with Alzheimer's disease and don't know what to do? Do you feel burned out, frustrated, and just don't know where to turn? You've